The discovery. I don't even know how I found it. One moment, I was just walking through that old building, the one almost everyone ignores, and then there it was, a stone sticking out just enough for me to trip over it. I pressed it. Nothing. Then I pushed harder. A click. A door swung open. It was narrow, dark, and smelled like dust, mixed with, I don't know, something old, rotten paper, maybe. I shined my flashlight inside. Shelves. Tons of shelves. Papers stacked like someone just threw them there in a hurry. Some weird artifacts, too. I froze on a small bronze triangle with an eye on it. I've seen that symbol before. Banks, flags, logos maybe. My stomach flipped. Then I saw the manuscripts. They were tied with old ribbons. I hesitated. My hand shook a little. I untied one bundle. The writing, it wasn't like normal handwriting. Tight, looping, almost obsessive. There were symbols I didn't understand, shapes in the margins. And then I read the words that made me stop breathing. The blueprint. Underneath, a note. Observe everything. Question nothing. My stomach twisted. What did that mean? Who had written this? And why here? In a hidden room that no one knew existed? I flipped through the pages. Sketches of monuments, buildings, geometric patterns. Names, some familiar, some not. Dates that didn't match any calendar I knew. At first, I thought it was madness. Surely someone had lost their mind here decades ago. But the deeper I looked, the more I realized this was no ordinary journal. Patterns emerged. Shapes repeated themselves. The same triangle with the eye, a recurring symbol I couldn't name, yet I'd seen it everywhere, though I'd never noticed. On coins, banknotes, flags, even on corporate logos. And the names: Rothschild, Rockefeller, unknown families linked to older dynasties. I swallowed hard. The manuscripts weren't just about history. They were about control, power, manipulation. I thought I heard a whisper. It might have been the wind. Probably the wind. The room was dead silent otherwise. But then, I could have sworn someone or something moved just beyond the edge of my flashlight. I should have closed the manuscript and walked away. I wanted to. I tried. But curiosity, that stupid, dangerous curiosity, had me. I couldn't. I kept reading. Diagrams with circles intersecting triangles. Lines connecting ancient monuments to modern cities. References to secret societies, the Illuminati, Freemasons, the architects. Notes about rituals, meetings, and prophecies that seemed almost alive. Pages describing the manipulation of entire populations. Wars, revolutions, financial collapses, pandemics. All patterns, all intentional. I blinked and the candle flickered. Shadows danced on the walls, stretching like they had a life of their own. My hands shook. I knew I was in over my head, but still, I couldn't stop. Each page was a door, each symbol a key, and each revelation made my head spin more than the last. It wasn't just information, it was a map of everything that had ever happened, all the decisions, the chaos, the order, hidden behind a veil most would never even guess existed. I looked around. No one had seen me. Probably no one ever would. But somehow I felt watched. Maybe it was paranoia, or maybe it wasn't. I made a note to myself, be careful, very careful. And then I realized the manuscript wasn't finished, not really. There were parts missing, torn edges, pages burned or cut out. Whoever had written this didn't want it found, and yet here I was. I was holding the beginning of something that could unravel everything I thought I knew about the world. And somewhere far away, or maybe very close, someone or something knew I had found it. I hesitated before picking up the next bundle of papers. My fingers brushed against the rough edges of an old leather journal. Unlike the manuscripts, it was smaller, personal. Whoever had written it seemed human, not some distant, abstract scholar. The handwriting was hurried in places, smudged, almost desperate. The first page bore a single line in ink that had faded to brown over decades. The pattern is everywhere. You only need to know how to see it. Frowned. Patterns. Everything here was about patterns. I had glanced at the manuscripts before, but now it felt personal, almost like a warning. A warning to someone who had the curiosity and the recklessness to keep reading. That someone was me. As I turned the pages, I noticed a map tucked inside. Not a map of cities or countries. No, it was something else. Lines connecting points I didn't recognize. Triangles, circles, and intersecting angles. Numbers scribbled beside each intersection. The map seemed to stretch across time and space, like a blueprint, not just of land, but of events themselves. I leaned closer, tracing a line with my finger. Something about the geometry was familiar, but I couldn't place it. My mind tried to connect the shapes to the symbols I had seen earlier, and suddenly, a shiver ran down my spine. They fit together, all of them. The manuscripts, the symbols, the families, the wars. They were part of the same invisible web. I felt the sudden, cold draft behind me. I froze. Nothing. Just the shadows shifting in the candlelight. I told myself it was nothing. My imagination. But my heart was racing. Every instinct in my body screamed that I was not alone. I continued reading. There was a section in the journal filled with lists, names, dates, and locations. Some were clearly historical figures, others completely unknown. Next to each name were small symbols, an eye, a triangle, a spiral, dot, dot. And then, in the margins, notes like, observe the third, the pattern repeats, never trust the mirror. The smallest circle hides the greatest secret. Subscribe for more.